Hello, welcome back to the channel, and this is a channel where we give you reviews, playthroughs, don't do unboxings. We might do a few playthroughs in the near future if you behave yourselves. But today we're going to be talking about a exploration style skirmish game. We're going to be talking about Nemesis Retaliation, and in this game you will be sending your Marines out into a facility to fulfill an objective, all the while trying to avoid or blow the living shit out of a bunch of aliens that are trying to eat your ass. So remember, if you are new here, then please consider subscribing to this channel, hit the like button and all that YouTube bullshit. We'll see you after this. So, Nemesis Retaliation. How'd you play this game? So, Nemesis Retaliation is a semi-cooperative exploration game for 1 to 5 players. This is the third iteration of a Nemesis game. You had the original Nemesis, which we didn't particularly like because of the ruthless player elimination. Then you had Nemesis Lockdown, which we didn't play, and then we've picked up Nemesis Retaliation because we thought we'd have another look at it, yeah? So, Nemesis Retaliation differs from the other Nemesis games in the fact that you have now got corridors, yeah? Not only have you got the rooms that you're going to be exploring, but these are linked by corridors and aliens are going to spawn in them. You'll be able to chuck grenades into the corridors to blow them to fuck, yeah? So at the beginning of the setup, you'll have this sort of perimeter board that will go at a right angle, and then you'll have the landing zone where you'll be putting your players, and then you'll have the hibernatorium at the top, yeah, which is at the moment undiscovered, yeah? The way this game works is that you'll have a public objective and you'll have a private objective. In the other two games, there was a stipulation whereby you had to choose which objective you were going to fulfill after an alien was discovered or something, but this changes that, and it means that you can do it whenever you want. You'll be able to draw X amount of extra action cards dependent on whether you're the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, whatever player to do this, yeah? So the sooner you do it, the more action cards you're going to get. This could save your ass when you're in a scrape. So yeah, you'll choose a character, you'll take the mini, stick it on the landing zone, you'll get some equipment, you'll have a deck of action cards that are kind of unique to your character but share some attributes with other characters as well. And on your turn, you will be able to perform 2 actions and any number of 3 actions, yeah? You may have to give up action cards to perform actions. You don't have to give up an action card if you're playing an action card, but I suppose in a weird sort of way, you are giving up an action card to play the action card because you're playing an action card, right? Right, and you can pass. When you pass, you basically sit out the rest of the round and you don't do fuck all. Yeah, like you fucking normally do, you lazy bastards. So, actions that cost 1 action card, yeah, you can choose any action card to discard from your hand and you can perform the following actions. You can make a move. You'll never move into corridors, you'll only move through them, and you'll take your mini and you'll move into either an existing room or you will discover another room, right? When you discover a room, you'll pick a tile dependent on whether you're in section A, B or C, and you'll reveal it, and then you will draw an exploration card, and then you'll place corridors adjacent to that room as it tells you, and you'll populate the corridors with like whatever it tells you to do. So you might populate it with noise markers, or it might catch fire, or there might be other shit that you have to do, right? So when you move, you'll have to do a noise roll. You'll roll the noise die, and then you'll look at the corridors adjacent to your room, and if the result of the die matches any of those corridors, then you might be a little bit fucked, yeah? Because you'll have to consult the help sheet and it will tell you what you got to do. You might have to draw an intruder token from the bag. That might mean that you might have to place like lava or adults or drones, or even the fucking queen might come out, yeah, stomping around trying to reduce your penis size to a couple of millimeters, yeah? Or you might get the hazard result, yeah? And this means that you are fucking fucked, yeah? This will more often than not place an intruder directly into the room that you're in, and they will give you a fucking massive slap as a freebie, yeah? So don't roll this fucking symbol. You can place a secure token. What you'll do, you place a blue token in the room, and this means that when an intruder attacks you, then you will remove the token instead of getting your ass kicked. You can fire a shot into a room. This doesn't use up any of your ammo from your clip, but what you'll do, you roll the die and you'll have to roll equal to or lower than the amount of wounds that the intruder's already got, yeah? So the more wounds you do, the more chance you got of killing it, yeah? You can fire a burst into a corridor. You'll roll the burst die, and then whatever you roll, you apply those hits to whatever's in the corridor, yeah? This synergizes with a lot of weapons that you got because you got like a target thing on a burst die, and that might trigger dependent on what weapons you are using. You can perform a melee attack, yeah? Don't ever fucking do this, yeah? Because you're likely to get fucking killed unless you got that sort of pickaxe thing that you can slant into an alien's head. The only problem is that it will malfunction after you use it, so you've got to go and get it repaired, yeah? But yeah, melee attacks, they're fucking risky, yeah? But if you really got no choice, then you're gonna have to take a fucking punt on it, ain't you? You can use an item that's fucking shitloads of items in this game. Chances are you're not going to be picking that many up, yeah, because you're going to be doing other shit. But when you do pick them up, they are fucking brilliant. They can get you out of a quagmire of shit if you can risk using all of the actions to get them. You can activate the robot, yeah. The robot will appear at some point. It'll be activated when a room is discovered. If you're in the room with a VIC-20 computer screen, you can move the robot as you would your own character, and I think it can only fire into corridors or something. It can't fire into a room, so you're gonna have to sort of hang back, but the robot doesn't get done over by intruders, right? You can trade, usual shit. Yeah, you're in the same space, you can swap items, you could do a three-way trade if you want. I know some of you like three-ways. Or you can use your tactical gear. You've got a little tactical belt with some tokens on it, and these come in the form of oxygen, grenades, medikits, or ammo, yeah? So you can spunk 2 action cards up the fucking wall if you want to. This will allow you to interact with a room. There's shitloads of rooms, yeah? You've got the A, B, and C rooms when you use an exploration, yeah? But you've also got the unknown question mark rooms, yeah? Some of the rooms might allow you to remove a serious wound when you get fucked up by an alien. You might be able to act as if you're in any room with a VIC-20 computer, right? Or you might have the reactor core, which basically shuts down all of the life support, the auto-destruct, and it also removes the anti-aircraft fire from the game, yeah? So once you have taken 2 turns, if you're not in a section that has got life support turned on, you'll lose an oxygen. If you run out of oxygen, you're fucked. But you can replenish your oxygen through your tactical belt or other means, yeah? So once everyone has done 2 actions, then you'll move on to the intruder phase. If the intruder is in a room where it's on fire, they are basically going to fucking burn, right? And then any remaining intruders will attack, yeah? You'll draw an attack card and you'll look at what type of intruder's on there, and then you'll follow the instructions in the text. It may just give you a little poke, or it might give you a serious wound, yeah? Serious wounds will more often than not give you a contamination card. You'll have to make sure that you're not infected at the end of the game, so the less contamination cards you end up with, the better. And serious wounds basically take up 3 lots of injuries, yeah? So you don't want to get too many of these because it will sort of usher death into your house quicker. Serious wounds will also come with some sort of penalty, like you might end up half blind, or you might end up with a fuck knee, or you might just be fucking bleeding to death, right? Once you have resolved all the intruders, yeah, then you'll have an event phase. You'll draw an event card, you'll do what it says. The aliens may move, they may not. Some other shit may happen, and these are generally really bad, yeah? But you ain't got any fucking choice. It's like going to work, yeah? It's a necessary fucking evil, yeah? Then you have got bag development. This is where you'll be adding more aliens to the map and putting tokens in the bag and all that shit, yeah, whatever. And then you'll do a bit of cleanup, yeah? Everyone will draw back up to 5 action cards. You'll advance the time marker. There's 14 rounds, yeah? Once you get to the end of the 14th round, the game's over. Or if you move the marker onto the space with a landing craft and you have fulfilled your objective, you can fuck off and you'll win the game. The problem is if you haven't disabled the anti-aircraft guns, then the lander's going to fucking blow up. So the only other options you got to win the game is go to the hibernatorium, hope that there's no aliens going to come in and fucking wake you up at 6 o'clock in the morning like my fucking kids do every fucking day of the fucking week. Or you can get into the space shuttle escape pod thing that's got room enough for 1 person unless you are Rick Waller. And everyone else can go to fuck, yeah? Because you're the only one that's going to be able to get in there and piss off. So I think that's basically it. Hang on, let me just have a look, see if I fucking missed anything, yeah? Because there might be some juicy shit that I've missed. So yeah, the only other thing really that is worth noting is that the Queen might turn up. She's got her own health cards, yeah? And like all queens, yeah, they're fucking ruthless as fuck. I mean, Queen Elizabeth II basically ate barbed wire and nails for breakfast. Instead of milk, she had fucking oil, you know what I mean? No, she wasn't a fucking reptile. That's bullshit. So yeah, like we said, when you get to the 14th round, the game will be over. You will have to check for contamination. You'll get this little infrared thing that you have to stick the card in, and it will tell you whether or not you're infected. If you're infected, you ain't got a hope in hell winning a game. You can't win a game if you're infected. But if you have fulfilled your objective and you have escaped the facility and you're not a complete and utter then you will win the game of Nemesis Retaliation. So what do we like about Nemesis Retaliation? So the first thing that we quite like about this is that, like all of these Nemesis games and all of Awakened Realms offerings, this game is highly thematic, yeah? And I'm not just saying that in a sense that it's like an Ameritrash game. I don't give a fuck about the distinction between Euros and Ameritrash, yeah? But the way this game is intricately linked into the theme means this game has one of the best atmospheres that you can get from a board game, yeah? There's a massive host of different characters that have their own ways of manipulating a game, yeah? And where this this is a semi-co-op game. Well, you're really playing this game on your own, but trying to fake the fact that you give a fuck about other people, yeah? Bit like real life, really. The amount of options in the game regarding like items and characters, different rooms and that, it's exactly what you want in a game that looks the fucking dog's bollocks and whose main purpose is to draw you into a narrative that has a traditional beginning, middle and end, yeah? We didn't play the second Nemesis game, but this is a massive leap forward in terms of story-driven narrative games, yeah? And coupled with the fact it looks absolutely fucking fantastic, yeah? I just found myself absorbed by the aesthetic quality of this one. So the second thing that we quite like about this is the addition of the corridors. On its own, it doesn't sound like a radical overhaul, but the fact now that you have corridors where noise and aliens can appear means that if you are strategically adept, you can always be at arm's length from the aliens, right? Those noise rolls that you're going to be doing, okay, they did appear in the originals, yeah, but they still keep you on tenterhooks. You are going to be hearing stuff in the distance thinking, shit, what the fuck is that? If I move again, will that trigger a fucking horde that's going to come in? Is that going to make me have to rethink my strategy? Where am I going to go next? Who is around to help me? What weapons have I got? And all that sort of shit, yeah? The modular map, and especially the corridors, amplifies the sense of tension when you are traversing around a facility, right? So the third thing that we quite like about this is that this game seems like more forgiving than the first Nemesis game. One of the main gripes we had with that is that you could be taken out of the game really early and you'll be sitting there twiddling your fucking pubic hair for maybe like 2 hours or whatever. In this one, it didn't feel as if that was particularly likely unless you were a complete and utter fucktard, yeah? There were more opportunities to dodge the aliens, mitigate the chances of dying, but it's still there, yeah? But the threat of death wasn't that great, yeah? The challenge of completing your objectives and like trying to get out of the facility was enough, yeah? Death was like a wasp in your ear. It's always there, you can always hear it. You weren't going to get fucking stung to death, were you? You know what I mean? So the fact that it's no longer a grave threat, it's just an ever-present threat was welcome, yeah? Because the last thing you want is to sit around doing fuck all. Don't we like that Nemesis Retaliation? So the first thing that we don't really like about this is that sometimes when you play this game, it feels like you're doing a whole bunch of not a lot at all, yeah? I always like to ask the people I play games with their thoughts on the game so we can get a more rounded opinion, because sometimes if I just think about what I like or don't like about the game, then my judgment can be clouded, yeah? Because I'm fucking stupid and I don't know what I'm talking about. So I asked the people I played this with what they thought about it, and one of the main points that came up time and time again is that sometimes you don't really feel like you're doing anything. You're moving from room to room, an alien horde comes up, you try and dodge them and you end up going back the same fucking way. Like we played this the other day and a mate of mine was on the landing zone. I fucked off over here to find the reactor, yeah? He ended up moving 3 tiles into level C, some aliens turned up and he ended up having to fuck off back to the landing zone. He got a serious injury, he had to go to the surgical room and that to have it removed, and by that time the game was fucking over. So all he did was go that way, go to the doctors and then fuck off home. So yeah, really, I mean, if you want to pick this game apart, it really just consists of moving to a room, maybe interacting with that room, firing your weapon and trying to fuck off home. So the second thing that we don't really like about this is a little bit in contrast to one of the points we made in the pros, whereby we thought it was a good thing that this game was more forgiving. However, the aliens don't really feel like a threat when you're taking your actions, yeah? They only become a threat when they move, and this is more likely to happen in the event phase, yeah? By which time you can't do fuck all about it, yeah? You can't act unless you've got some sort of reaction card that lets you do that. You can't really react against the way that the aliens move in the event phase, yeah? So the aliens tend to remain static when you're taking your turns. You can't really sort of manipulate what they do, aside from trying to shoot them, which is kind of weak, by the way, or using a burst or a grenade, which you can only use in corridors, which is a fucking pain in the arse, yeah? Because when you're in a room with an alien, you can basically just take a pot shot at it with a bullet. If they're at arm's length, then you've got more chance of fucking them up. But yeah, it doesn't really feel like the aliens are that much of a threat. If they'd moved around a little bit more and there was a way to sort of combat that threat, I think that would have been more satisfying. So the next thing that we don't really like about Nemesis Retaliation is that the end game, more often than not, feels a little bit weird, yeah? You've got 14 rounds of this and you'll be going around trying to fulfill your objective, and there will come a point where you're either dead, forget those fucking retards, or you will have completed your objective and you'll be looking for a way out, yeah? Somebody's already in the space shuttle thing and there's aliens in the hibernatorium. The only chance you've got is to get to the landing zone zone. Once you get there, and maybe you got there in like round 8, you still got another 6 fucking rounds to go, yeah? So you're just sitting in the landing zone going, well, what am I going to do now? Am I going to play the card that brings the lander forward? If you haven't activated the anti-aircraft guns, you're going to be fucking shitting bricks, yeah? You're not going to have time to go and fucking sort that out, yeah? So you're just going to have to take a punt. But if you have disabled the anti-aircraft guns, you're just going to be sitting there round on round, hoping that aliens don't turn up. And the guy that's in the space shuttle is basically eliminated from the game, yeah? They're just waiting for the game to end. So it does feel sometimes, not all the time, that there is an anticlimax to this game. And sometimes 14 rounds might be a little bit too long if there was an option to shorten the amount of rounds, or maybe once everyone's fulfilled the objectives. I think there's a rule in the rule book that says if everyone's dead, or once everyone's fulfilled their objectives, or something, the game ends, or something like that. I can't remember off the top of my head. No, it says when all players are dead, escaped, or hibernated, yes. So if people are in the lander zone, you still got to wait for the lander to turn up, and that feels like a bit of an anti-climax, yeah? A bit like one of them geezers that lives in their mum's basement having a wank to razzle. So to summarise, is Nemesis Retaliation worth your time and bother today and in the future? So we are going to say yes. Nemesis Retaliation is on the whole what we call a flawed masterpiece. The stunning thematic presence this game eschews is routinely broken by some kind of wonky mechanics and lackluster threats. The issue we had with the original, like player elimination and all that sort of shit, while not being completely fixed, has been mitigated to an acceptable level. Yeah, it doesn't feel like you're on the precipice of elimination and death at every step of the way, even though that threat is still there. It just feels like the final piece of the jigsaw puzzle is still missing, whatever that piece may be. While it didn't meet all of our expectations, and let's be honest, what game does? It's still one of the best Marines versus aliens in a facility game that you can get today, and for thematic grandeur alone, this game comes highly recommended by us. So there you go, that is Nemesis Retaliation. Remember, if you are new here, then please consider subscribing to this channel. If you are not new here and you haven't subscribed, then why the fuck not? Hit the like button and all that bullshit that those YouTube pricks tell you to do, and we will see you next time.